Bob Marley was born on February 6, 1945, in 9 Miles, St. Anne, Jamaica, to Norval Marley and Cedella Booker. His father was a Jamaican of English descent. His mother was a black teenager. The couple planned to get married, but Norval left Kingston before this could happen. Norval died in 1955, seeing his son only once. Bob Marley started his career with the Wailers, a group he formed with Peter Tosh and Bunny Livingston in 1963. Marley married Rita Marley in February 1966, and it was she who introduced him to Rastafarianism. By 1969 Bob, Tosh, and Livingston had fully embraced Rastafarianism, which greatly influenced Marley's music in particular and on reggae music in general. The Wailers collaborated with Lee Scratch Perry, resulting in some of the Wailers' finest tracks like Soul Rebel, Duppy Conquerer, 400 Years and Small Axe. This collaboration ended bitterly when the Wailers found that Perry, thinking the records were his, sold them in England without their consent. However, this brought the Wailers' music to the attention of Chris Blackwell, the owner of Island Records. Blackwell immediately signed the Wailers and produced their first album, Catch a Fire. This was followed by Burnin', featuring tracks as Get Up Stand Up and I Shot the Sheriff. Eric Clapton's cover of that song reached #1 in the US. In 1974 Tosh and Livingston left the Wailers to start solo careers. Marley later formed the band Bob Marley and the Wailers, with his wife Rita as one of 3 backup singers called the I-Trees. This period saw the release of some groundbreaking albums, such as Natty Dread, Rastaman Vibration. In 1976, during a period of spiraling political violence in Jamaica, an attempt was made on Marley's life. Marley left for England, where he lived in self-exile for 2 years. In England Exodus was produced, and it remained on the British charts for 56 straight weeks. This was followed by another successful album, Kaya. These successes introduced reggae music to the Western world for the first time, and established the beginning of Marley's international status. In 1977 Marley consulted with a doctor when a wound in his big toe would not heal. More tests revealed malignant melanoma. He refused to have his toe amputated as his doctors recommended, claiming it contradicted his Rastafarian beliefs. Others, however, claim that the main reason behind his refusal was the possible negative impact on his dancing skills. The cancer was kept secret from the general public while Bob continued working. Returning to Jamaica in 1978, he continued work and released Survival in 1979, which was followed by a successful European tour. In 1980 he was the only foreign artist to participate in the independence ceremony of Zimbabwe. It was a time of great success for Marley, and he started an American tour to reach blacks in the US. He played 2 shows at Madison Square Garden, but collapsed while jogging in NYC's Central Park on September 21, 1980. The cancer diagnosed earlier had spread to his brain, lungs, and stomach. Bob Marley died in a Miami hospital on May 11, 1981. He was 36 years old. Trivia: Marley was awarded the International Peace Medal by the African delegation to the United Nations in 1978. He was also an official guest at Zimbabwe's independence celebration 2 years later, an honor Marley was quoted as saying was the highest he'd ever received. Survived an assassination attempt, receiving minor injuries in the chest and arm, December 1976. His albums are in the process of digital remastering and are being re-released with additional material such as alternate versions and unused demos. His posthumously released anthology collection Legend is one of the highest-selling greatest hits recordings by a solo artist. He is buried in a crypt at 9 Miles, near his birthplace, with his Gibson Les Paul guitar, a soccer ball, a cannabis bud, and a Bible. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. His song One Love has been used extensively for Jamaican tourism commercials. He was voted the 11th greatest rock and roll artist of all time by Entertainment Weekly. Son of Cedella Marley. His album Exodus was chosen by Time magazine as the greatest album of the 20th century. Was arrested in England for possession of a joint of marijuana. Was voted the 3rd greatest lyricist of all time by BBC News Online users, following Bob Dylan and John Lennon, May 2001. Considered by many to be the first superstar from the Third World. It was announced that his wife plans to have his remains exhumed and moved to Ethiopia, January 2005. Refused amputation of his cancer-affected toe due to his religious beliefs. Suffered from a form of skin cancer called malignant melanoma, which is not common among black people. It's widely believed that Marley got this form of skin cancer because his father was white. Was given a state funeral in Jamaica. Was an avid and passionate footballer. Was named by his father Nest Robert Marley after his brother who, when Bob was just born, wanted to adopt him. During the last months of his life, he suffered from very serious seizures. His youngest child, a daughter named Makeda, was born to Yvette Anderson 11 days after he died. Tough Gong was his nickname, given to him due to his reputed physical strength. Later, Marley started his own music production company and named it Tough Gong. Inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame for his outstanding contribution to British music and integral part of British music culture, November 11, 2004.